who are the best guys you've ever seen play, and we decided that probably in roughly the last 50 years, who are the best All Blacks you've seen running around? No particular positions, but who appeal to you as the guys with the greatest ability or impact on the game, those sort of special things that appeal to you. So 20 names, over you go, over to you.
Zinzan Brooke with a drop goal. Is that there? That's a magnificent kick. Well, can you believe it?
Zinzan Brooke was, for a number of years, he looked like he was going to be one of the great enigmas of New Zealand rugby, really, and that was due entirely to the fact that he followed in the footsteps and ended up stepping into the same footsteps as Buck Shelford. Brooke, to his eternal credit, won us over just by sheer brilliance. I mean, the guy was a monster off the back of the scrum. He was very, very difficult to stop behind the advantage line. What you remember Brooke for is the extras he brought, and not just talking about drop goals from 45 metres and sort of World Cup semi-finals.
Zinzan Brooke with a drop goal. Is that there? That's a magnificent kick. Well, can you believe it?
He could throw spiral passes with both hands, he could throw reverse spiral passes, he could grab a kick, he could crossfield kick, and we saw he could drop kick. I mean, it was probably to his eternal regret that he was never a team's principal goal kicker, because I'm sure he would have backed himself to do that. I've got a lot of admiration for the way he dealt with everything that surrounding the whole bring back Buck. And it's no secret that he toyed with the idea of going to Manly. Legend has it that he signed on the dotted line before pulling out at about as late as you can pull out of a contract. So Zinzan Brooke was obviously in a little bit of turmoil at times about his standing in the All Black scheme of things. He probably knew he was good enough. In fact, you only had to see him play to know that he knew he was good enough. But he didn't drop his bundle. He came back and ended up playing 50-something tests for the All Blacks. Just an extraordinarily competitive guy and an extraordinarily gifted guy, and one of the great world number 8s.
If you talk to people who played with Ken Gray, they will put up a cogent argument why he was the best All Black forward of his time, even ahead of Colin Meads. He was an outstanding forward, immensely strong man, formidably good scrummager. There was nobody better at number 2 as a jumper in the line-out. Very good around the park, good pair of hands. He's an interesting character from a couple of perspectives. One is that he never made his first 15 at high school. He also was a lock for a period of time until he was moved forward into the front row, and of course he never looked back from there. This was an era when there were no beg your pardons. You didn't say don't do that. You tended to take more direct action. From the time he came into the All Blacks in 1963, long tour of Britain, until they played Wales in 1969, he was never present, apart from 3 games when he was injured, 3 tests when he was injured. So in 1969, when the All Blacks had played Wales and he was in his prime then, the following year was the tour to South Africa, and he said no, he wouldn't go. There's no question that the All Blacks would have been a better side for having him in there. He was a terrific player. He was big and strong, didn't take a backward step, so he was truly an All Black great.
Kirwan begins a run, mark the spot where he got the ball. It was well back inside his 22. And what a way to bring it. 48 8 points, and they might be looking for 50. John Kirwan. And what a way to bring up 50 points in an Rugby test for the first time.
The guy was just a raw athlete, wasn't he? All power, big man, moved at thunderous speed again. Agile off either feet, sidesteps, good fend, enormously difficult for traditional little wings to hold. And he was a huge weapon for the All Blacks. He kind of was a prototype for Lomu in many ways, in that he was a bloke when you looked at him, you thought, gee, this guy must be a blindside flanker or possibly a smaller lock. And here he was playing with a 14 jersey on his back. He could play though, and he was spotted out there as a teenager by a number of influential Auckland rugby people who suggested to John Hart that he should perhaps go and survey this bloke and see what he could do. And Hart looked at him and said, quite like that idea, plonked him in the team. He had his difficulties as well, didn't he? I mean, Achilles tendon surgery and battles with depression that we didn't know about early on, so he was overcoming all these sort of things. This is the butcher boy from Mangere, a very, very well-rounded, well-spoken, caring man, John. A lovely fellow, and it's just neat to run into him every now and again around the world while he's coaching these days Japan, but has been coaching Italy and all around the world, and has ideas, I believe, of coming back to coaching New Zealand at some stage. But he's just so passionate about the game. Whenever you see him, he's always got time to talk about the game.
Cully was special, wasn't he? He's, I think he holds a really fond memory in a lot of people's hearts for the way he played the game and just the sheer joy he got from running with a rugby ball. He was just an incredibly instinctive player, and I guess there's an inherent rugby intelligence that he had. He could glide into gaps like no one I've seen, and he was also a lot stronger than anyone gave him credit for. I mean, that's why he made the game look easy, because people thought they had him, and his strength combined with pace enabled him to beat players and make it look easy. I mean, he was brave, he didn't miss many tackles. The time when he was magical and almost unstoppable was actually relatively brief, and in some ways he was a victim of timing. I mean, he burst onto the scene in 1996, tries against Samoa, a hat-trick I think, and against Scotland in the second test. It was just wonderful tries where he kept chopping back off his foot for one try. I think he beat about 5 or 6 Scots on the way to the try line. What Cullen was brilliant at and was better than anyone else at was beating men and scoring tries. And that's what we watch rugby for, let's face it.
There's something special about the black number 7 jersey.
Oh, there's 7 black shirts there. Jones. Tried by Michael Jones.
If you look at Michael Jones as an example, who was an outstanding number 7, rated the best in the world at his time without question. Michael Jones was first and foremost a terrific athlete. He came to prominence. It was interesting, he came to prominence when he scored 3 tries for Auckland against South Canterbury. And within a year there was an All Black trial at Whangarei for the first World Cup. He'd never played a test, and yet the interesting thing about that was that it was regarded as a given that he would be in that squad. I remember being in Whangarei, there was never a debate of well, will Jones make it? Will he not? Is he a bit young? Should they leave him for another year? It was never a question of whether he would be in or not. He was in, simple as that. He could jump at the line out, he was fast off the back of the line out, if he made a break, if he took a short pass. I remember one vividly against Australia, took a short ball off a ruck and he was gone. He was through a gap before anyone had blinked. And he was just a terrific player, terrific force. He had a saying that when he was asked about the bone-crunching qualities of his tackling, and what did he make of it all, and did he enjoy tackling, and did he ever feel about anything for the opponent as he was being put down, and he simply used to say that it's better to give than to receive.